Adetutu was a woman of unwavering faith. Since the tragic death of her husband in a car accident years ago, she had placed all her trust in God. In the small town of Akure, she was known as a devoted churchgoer and a hardworking single mother. Her life revolved around a tiny provision shop, her evening prayers, and her only daughter, Amarachi. Amarachi was the light of her life. At just 13 years old, she was a brilliant and curious child with big dreams of becoming a doctor. Her days were filled with school, reading under the shade of their backyard mango tree, and helping her mother at the shop. Whenever someone asked Amarachi what she wanted to be in the future, her answer was always the same: I will become a doctor and build a hospital for Mama. Hello wonderful viewers, I haven't been making money from this content. The only way you can support me is by subscribing to my channel and by turning on the notification bell so you can always get notified anytime I drop a new video. Thank you. Let's get back into the story. Adetutu believed her daughter's future was bright, but she also believed it was fragile. With the many dangers of adolescence and the temptations of the modern world, Adetutu felt that Amarachi needed not only a good education, but also a strong spiritual guidance. This belief led her to put her full trust in their family pastor, Reverend Ezekiel. Reverend Ezekiel was the pillar of their church. He was charismatic, wise, and always seemed to have the answers to life problems. To Adetutu, he wasn't just a pastor. He was a man sent by God to guide their community. His preachings and sermons drew large crowds, and the people often sought his advice on personal and spiritual matters. One Sunday afternoon after service, Reverend Ezekiel approached Adetutu. Sister Adetutu, he began, I've been praying about your daughter. Amarachi is a special child. God has great plans for her. Adetutu beamed with pride. Thank you, Pastor. I've been doing my best to raise her well. You are doing wonderfully well, he said. But as you know, the teenage years are delicate. This is the time when the enemy tries to lead young ones astray. I suggest that she begins private prayer sections with me so that I can guide her spiritually. We must protect her future. Adetutu was overjoyed. She saw this as an opportunity to secure Amarachi's destiny. That evening, she told her daughter about the pastor's suggestion. Mama, do I really have to go? Amarachi asked insistently. I don't know if I am comfortable with this. Amarachi, don't be stubborn. Adetutu scolded her gently. Reverend Ezekiel is a man of God. He wants to help you. Trust me, this is for your own good. Don't you want to be a medical doctor again? Reluctantly, Amarachi agreed. And so, every Wednesday evening, she began to attend private sessions at the pastor's house. At first, everything seemed normal. Amarachi would return from the sessions quiet and respectful. However, Over time, subtle changes began to appear. The once vibrant girl who excelled in her studies started losing focus. Her teachers noticed it first. Mrs. Nwosu, a biology teacher, called her after class one day. "Amarachi, I've been noticing your test scores. You are not performing well as you used to do. Is something wrong with you?" Amarachi avoided her teacher's concerned gaze. "I'm fine, ma," she said, clutching her books tightly. But she wasn't fine. Her school performance continued to drop. She often missed assignments, forgot homework, and even struggled to concentrate in class. Even at home, Adetutu noticed a change. Amarachi no longer spent her evenings studying under the mango tree. Instead, she stayed in her room, withdrawn and distant from everybody. "Amarachi, is something bothering you?" Adetutu asked one evening. "No, Mama," Amarachi replied quickly, forcing a smile. "I am just tired." Adetutu shocked it up to growing pains. She never suspected that her daughter's prayer sessions with Reverend Ezekiel were the root of her troubles. As the weeks turned into months, Reverend Ezekiel's behavior towards Amarachi began to change. The once standard prayer sessions took a more personal tone. One evening, after a particularly long prayer, he told her, "Amarachi, you are now chosen by God, but to fulfill your destiny, you must make sacrifices." "What kind of sacrifices, sir?" she asked cautiously. "Obedience," he replied, his voice calm but firm. "You must trust me completely. I am God's vessel, and through me, He will guide you." Amarachi nodded, unsure of what he meant, but too afraid to question him further. Over time, Reverend Ezekiel began to blur the boundaries of their interactions. He would compliment her appearance, tell her she was special, and insist that their bond was part of God's plan. One evening, Reverend Ezekiel asked Amarachi to stay later than usual. He locked the doors and dimmed the lights, creating an atmosphere that felt heavy and oppressive. Amarachi's heart pounded in her chest. "Amarachi," he began, his voice low, "God has revealed something to me. You are meant to walk a sacred path with me. Do you trust me?" "Yes, sir," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Good," he said, moving closer. He grabbed her by the waist, fondled her breasts, and laid her on his bed. He instructed her not to make noise, as God loves a sincere and silent heart. He deflowered her and told her that she had passed through the first stage to become a chosen one by God. What followed was the beginning of a dark and manipulative relationship that would haunt Amarachi for years to come. By the time Amara turned 17, the weight of her secret had become unbearable. Her schoolwork had suffered drastically, and her dreams of becoming a doctor felt like a distant memory. She avoided her friends, stopped participating in class, and withdrew further into herself. One day, after weeks of feeling tired and fatigued, she confided in her best friend, Chiamaka. "I think I might be pregnant," she said, her voice trembling. Chiamaka's eyes widened. "Amarachi, are you sure of what you just said? Have you told your mother about this?" "No," Amarachi said, shaking her head. "I can't tell her. She will not be happy." Together, they went to a clinic where a doctor confirmed Amarachi's worst fear. She was pregnant. "Mama will kill me," Amarachi said while crying. "You have to tell her," Chiamaka said firmly. "You can't hide this forever." That evening, Amarachi sat down with her mother, tears streaming down her face. "Mama, I have something to tell you," she began, her voice trembling. "What is it, Amarachi?" Adetutu asked, concern showed on her face. "I am pregnant," Amarachi said. Adetutu's world shattered in an instant. "What? Who is responsible for this?" she demanded. It is Reverend Ezekiel," Amarachi confessed. Adetutu screamed in anger. She couldn't believe the man she had trusted with her daughter had betrayed them so deeply. Adetutu couldn't sleep that night. The news of her daughter's pregnancy and the betrayal of Reverend Ezekiel weighed heavily in her heart. She sat in a small living room, her mind racing. How could a man she trusted with her entire life do this to her? The morning light brought no comfort. Instead, it ignited a fire in her. She had to confront the pastor. The following day, Adetutu stormed into the church office with Amarachi in tow. Her anger was obvious, and her voice shook as she demanded to see Reverend Ezekiel. When he finally appeared, his calm nature only fueled Adetutu's anger. "Pastor Ezekiel, how could you take advantage of my daughter?" she screamed, tears streaming down her face. The pastor raised his hands, feigning innocence. "Sister Adetutu, what are you talking about? These are serious accusations." Amarachi stepped forward, her voice trembling. "You know what you did to me, sir. You said it was part of God's plan." The congregation gathered outside the church office, drawn by the commotion. Whispers spread like wildfire. People who had once respected Ezekiel as a holy man now looked at him with suspicion and disgust. Concerned and unable to deny the truth, Ezekiel tried to manipulate the situation. "I only wanted to help her," he said, his voice faltering. "She misunderstood my intentions." But the community wasn't convinced enough. Adetutu, with the support of other mothers, decided to take legal actions. Reverend Ezekiel was arrested, and his dark secrets began to unravel. Meanwhile, Amarachi's life took a turn for the worse. At the age of 17, she was forced to drop out of school. Her once bright dreams of becoming a medical doctor were now overshadowed by the responsibilities of impending motherhood. Adetutu did her best to support her daughter, but the shame and judgment from the community were relentless. People whispered whenever they passed by, and Amarachi's friends ran away, unable to face the stigma. One day, Amarachi sat by the mango tree in their backyard, staring at her old school books. Tears filled her eyes as she flipped through the pages of her biology notes. Reverend Ezekiel's trial was a spectacle, as more victims came forward with similar accusations. His once stellar reputation crumbled. The courtroom was packed with community members eager to see justice served. The judge's judgment was swift and unforgiving. Pastor Ezekiel was sentenced to life imprisonment for his crimes. The church he had built with lies and manipulation was disbanded, and the building was abandoned, a haunting reminder of his betrayal. From his prison cell, Pastor Ezekiel wrote letters to Adetutu, begging for forgiveness, but she never responded. "God may forgive you," she said to herself, "but I cannot." At the age of 18, Amarachi gave birth to a baby boy. The child was a constant reminder of her pain, but also a symbol of her resilience. She named him Ifeoluwa, meaning God's love, as a testament to her belief that despite everything, God had not abandoned her. Adetutu and Amarachi worked tirelessly to provide for the baby. Adetutu expanded her provisions shop, and Amarachi began to take night classes to prepare for her exam. Though the journey was far from easy, Amarachi refused to give up. "I will be a doctor one day," she told her mother, determination burning in her eyes. Adetutu smiled through her tears, "And I will be right here cheering you on." The story of Amarachi and Adetutu became a cautionary tale in the community. Parents became more cautious about who they trusted with their children, and the importance of open communication within families was emphasized. Adetutu often spoke at community gatherings, sharing her experience and urging parents to protect their children. "Faith is important," she would say, "but blind trust can destroy lives. Be vigilant. Listen to your children. Their voices matter." Amarachi too found her voice. She began mentoring young girls, sharing her story to inspire them to stand up for themselves and never lose sight of their dreams. Though the scars of the past remained, Amarachi and Adetutu rebuilt their lives with strength and love. Their story served as a powerful reminder that even in the face of betrayal and hardship, resilience and hope could prevail. We finally come to the end of the story. Guys, if you find this story interesting, please support me by subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you can always get notified anytime I drop a new video just like this one. Thank you.